Mark, I appreciate you coming up and fishing with us.
Awesome, Tom. Appreciate you having me.
You know, we had to squeeze the morning in. We had fog, now we got wind, we got rain, and tomorrow we got freezing cold. So.
I don't know if you've noticed, but you know, you come to Stewart when I should be coming up here, and I come up here when you should be coming down to Stewart.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
I don't know. We got to fix that.
Yeah,
we got to fix that.
We can do that.
But we caught some fish anyway.
Yeah, we had a nice time.
You know, trout mostly. You got one nice flounder. You know, this time of the year we find a lot of mixed bag up here,
right.
Which we didn't find today, but you know, decent enough in between the weather.
Well, that's the whole thing. You got to go with conditions, and to be able to go out and bend a rod on a day like today is pretty wonderful.
Absolutely.
You know, we probably caught what 15 or 20 trout easily.
Right.
You know, and bent rod is a good thing.
Absolutely. Speaking of rods, you know, we're both using pretty light tackle, light braid, very sensitive rods, and that's very, very important. The water's cold. You know, we're in the low 50s. The bites sometimes are good, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're very subtle. So, quality equipment. Subtle bites make a big difference.
Right. Working the bait slow, you instantly tied on the curl tails, which for a slow presentation, it's got a tremendous amount of flash with very slow movement, which is ideal. You know, it gets their attention, but they have plenty of time to go eat the bait.
Absolutely. And we went, you know, mostly on the 8th earlier. Wind came up. I snuck in that 1/4 ounce on you, picked up a few more
that was
fish.
real nice of you to let me know that after you caught a few fish. But that's okay, I'm not hurt. Don't worry.
You make a lot of different baits, a lot of different colors. You know, I catch fish on all your baits, but you know, certainly the curl tail, the wintertime, your shad tails all year round.
Well, we were talking earlier when we were fishing size. You know, this time of year when it starts getting real cold, tend to downsize a good bit. You know, these fish are lethargic and they're really foraging. Anything they can find, they pick up and eat, and something small and flashy. And the marine biologists always say that, like, a trout will tend to eat a lot of fin fish when it's warm out, when they're comfortable, at their most comfortable stage. But when it's super cold, they have trouble digesting a big fin fish. So they tend to go for smaller baits. And, you know, we got the colder water, so we got smaller baits.
Right, and it worked out today. You make some bigger baits, which I've done really well on all the time, but as of late as well. Didn't have the opportunity to use them today, but the Airhead is a fabulous bait.
Right. This here, and I know that you cut that tail on it, where you can get that tail to have a lot of action, and that's a very simple process. It's just the reason why I like to cut a hole in the center of the bait is strictly that when I cut the slot to that hole, it won't continue to tear. So I can cast it in a heavy wind, and when it flaps, it won't continue to tear. So it's very important to cut a real straight line, which is not true at all.
Right.
I will bite it with my teeth. I can do something like that, and it ain't the prettiest cut, but it still opens up and allows that bait to really flap.
Right.
And I learned that from the bass guys, and it really works well in saltwater.
Yes, it does.
I think you've done rather well on a redder too.
Yes, I have. Well, again, I appreciate you coming up, and you know, always great to fish with you. And I'm looking forward to getting back to Stewart in some warmer weather.
It's beautiful country up here.
Yeah,
and it's nice to look at from inside the window. You can look out and go, boy, it looks cold out there.
Yes, it does. It does. Thanks, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Good. Always
yes,
good.
Thank you so much.
Get real.